We're back with Gary Slovin, managing partner of Goodsill, Anderson, Quinn, and Stifel, LLP. Before break, you were talking a little bit about community, and you're very much involved in the community. One of the questions that I had was, your wife, you said, was recruited to come over as a teacher. When in your career in Hawaii as an attorney, did you know that you were going to start getting involved and giving back to the community? Because oftentimes teachers do get recruited from the mainland, and then they go back right away. So how did you know that this is, between you and your wife, this was going to be home and you were going to help to build Hawaii's community?
Well, as I said, for me, as soon as I was here a few days, there was something about the community, I think some intangibles, that just made me feel comfortable in a way that I hadn't felt when I lived in the Northeast. I'm not exactly sure why that was. As far as being involved in the community, I think that's something that I've just always felt. I mean, from my earliest time just going to school, I think there are different reasons why that is. I mean, I think partly it's liking people, liking being around people. I've always liked being a volunteer. Even before I got involved in the community affairs that I've been involved in most recently, I volunteered at kids' school, I volunteered in the community for community cleanups. I think, and I think other people who do a lot of volunteer work will always tell you this, you really do get a lot more out of it than you give, because it's a way of forming relationships, of feeling connected to a community. And to me, that's something that I've always, just always had a feeling for. I think that given the needs of the community, once you start getting involved as a volunteer, you soon realize that if people don't volunteer in the community, there isn't enough to go around to meet the needs of people. Certainly, government is not capable of meeting all of the needs in a community. Private contributions are a big part of it, but not enough. A lot of it really is the sweat equity, people actually getting out there and doing things that are the things needed to keep a community whole.
Do you encourage your associates at the law firm to get involved?
Yes. I mean, I would say it's sort of a requirement in our firm. All of the associates are encouraged as part of their training to get involved in the community. And what we tell them to do is, look, find something that you love to do. That's the key thing. Because if you don't like doing it, then it's not going to last. You can't just do it because it's, you get this business development elements to it. Of course there is. And I think people probably do deserve to get some reward for the volunteering they do. But if you're not doing something you care about or you're committed to and passionate about, it isn't going to work. People aren't going to see you as being sincere. So we do encourage all of our associates to do it. And the interesting thing to observe is that when people do volunteer, that once they start doing it, the rest takes care of itself, because people get involved in it, they make friends, they get passionate about it, they learn a lot more about the community, and then usually it's a lifetime experience from then on.
You mentioned a number of mentors in your life. Did your mentors train you with this type of community-mindedness?
Certainly. I think probably the key mentor in my life was a lawyer in Philadelphia that I worked with for a few months. Philadelphia in those days had a system that I thought was pretty interesting. After you passed the bar, you had to work with a licensed attorney for a certain period of time, and that time it was 6 months, and you didn't necessarily get paid for it. And then that attorney, after that period had passed, had to certify you that you could practice. You had the character to practice law. And he was very community-minded. As I said, he was very involved during the McCarthy era, representing people. When I worked with him, I was involved in the anti-war movement. I was involved in the civil rights movement. We didn't get paid for any of that work. I'd say in my early years of practice, half the time I spent was doing this pro bono work. So right from an early stage, these people who were my mentors, particularly this one individual, but there were others as well, I saw the example of people dedicating themselves to helping people and working in causes for no pay, but that there was a reward greater than that. And I mean, it was a very exciting thing to do. I made a lot of great friends. I learned an awful lot, and learned right away that, hey, this doing stuff where you're not getting paid actually can be pretty cool. So I think that was probably, maybe in my professional career, and community career, maybe that was a key thing.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.